Good evening, Sharpies, and welcome to Steel Sharpen Steel. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
I'm Chuck Hobbs.
And I'm Sharon Letman Hicks.
Y'all, it has been a week.
It has been a week. Can I have the screen, please?
Can you who now?
Can I have the screen, please?
Oh, yes, you may.
Yes.
You can give it to yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, hey, do what you do. So today's episode is brought to you by weed. Bruh, sometimes you need to hit that thing. You know, when your anxiety is high, when your self-esteem is low, and you can't sleep, and you need to turn your mind off, just sometimes you need. Also available in gummy form. Legal in most places because white people do it now.
Whoop. She got 5 on it.
They used to be my jam until Jordan Peele ruined my life.
But wait, here's the inside scoop. The original track that the Loonies use for I Got 5 on It is Why You Treat Me So Bad.
That's right. I forgot about that, but sir,
which
you
is the
are correct.
underlying current of the entire film.
Great point.
Why You Treat Me. See? Hair blown.
Mm-hmm.
That I did not realize that. Not even a little bit.
Club Nouveau.
I remember Club Nouveau. That was a jam back in the day.
It
and
was.
I knew it, but I mean, we just awesome. Black people, I love
I
y'all.
don't know my baby.
I know. That techno intro with those
When you do me the
with
way you
violins,
do.
that's one of the hardest intros in the 80s of a song. That and I'm drawing a
Anything
blank.
from Public Enemy.
Right. One Love from Houdini. That opening it hit hard too.
You're lucky just
so.
to have just one love.
That was my jam too.
You're
Yeah,
lucky
man.
just to have just one.
So
I see
who
my
are y'all doing?
classmate Andrea Howard Oliver weighing in. Yeah, she and I, we vibe all the time on these internets. I post something in that 86 to 90 group. Yeah, it was something else. One time for the class of 90, Dr. Oliver. But yeah, y'all, I'm glad to see y'all. This has been a fucked up week, and there ain't no reason to sugarcoat it. I'm really struggling with a lot of stuff, and I know we all are. So it's good to be with family tonight, y'all, because I'm about out of words. I mean,
Virtual hugs.
Virtual hugs.
Yeah.
We normally have a well-organized lineup for you, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a
man.
lot. I'm dead motherfucking serious about this here. When I tell
Like,
you,
Just say no to drugs. Just say no to drugs.
just say no to addictive drugs, because this is medicine.
Just say no to drugs.
Ask anybody in Colorado, and they will tell you this is medicine. I'm gonna tell you what kind of week I had. Y'all know I do diversity, equity, and inclusion during the day. I'm a consultant. I talk to a lot of companies, usually majority white, and they're like, "What's happening? What's wrong? Can you educate us?" And then I sit there and explain to them the same thing I've been explaining since last year. And so this week, having to talk about how my people are awaiting the outcome of a trial and watching more Black men die while we're waiting on the trial of not the first, not even the 200th,
Right.
the first one to get this far, that we have a hope for justice, is too much. I broke down to where I'm telling them, I'm like, I do this for a living. This is what I do. I get paid to immerse myself in this trauma on a daily basis. And if I'm looking at you in this camera and I can't keep it together, what makes you think that your Black coworkers can? And then I was like, you know what?
True that, Joy.
Smooth took off on them. I was gone for like 3 minutes. And I was like, what's happening? And they were like, it's a lot, and we understand. We empathize with our Black coworkers. Fill the time, because you know what? I'm out. I had it. And I didn't answer the phone. I got emails from all of them like, we're so sorry. We want you to know we really appreciate what you do for us. I'm gonna be in this bathtub. Call me tomorrow.
So, I watched a movie, and it was a poor choice. there's a movie on Netflix. It's Oscar nominated. It's a short film, blessedly, called Two Distant Strangers. And trauma porn is a word that has been used of late, mostly about this new Amazon series called Them, which, as we're talking about Us, you're not cute. We see what you did there.
Right.
Us and Them, and you even use a similar font. Stop it. But Two Distant Strangers is basically Groundhog Day meets Trayvon Martin.
Oh my God, I don't want to see that.
Right. So this dude wakes up.
Wow.
He's just had sex with this chick he met last night. Things are cool. They vibing, whatever. He's just trying to get home to his dog named Jeter. He walks out the building and ends up being accosted by a police officer. And at the end of the confrontation or the encounter, he gets shot. And as soon as he gets shot, he wakes up in the bed next to the girl again. And so he tries changing things up. He tries waiting at the girl's crib. But when he waits at the crib, they end up doing a no-knock raid and bursting in, and he gets shot. And then he tries not bumping into some other cat so that there's not an encounter. The whole point is that he can't escape his fate. And I will leave it to you to watch the end, because it does end technically on a more triumphant note. But the closing credits includes a list, a say their names list. And Joy, you said not even the 200th. It just keeps going. And on some of the descriptions, they actually have, like asleep in her bed. So there was another woman who was apparently asleep in her bed when she was killed by police. And then they had Brianna, like 4 or 5 names underneath that, asleep in her bed. So that part of it at the end, it just really kind of pulled, Tamir Rice playing in a park, Oscar Grant, trying to take a train home, all of these different little descriptions just indicating how many of us have been murdered by state sanctioned agents. And it was a lot, but it was only 30 minutes and they didn't show him get killed. They showed him get shot a bunch of times, but he basically Groundhog Day. So it's a lot, it's a lot of times he's been killed by the same cop. And it basically was almost like, one of the subtexts was, it doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
Because if they're gunning for you, they're going to get you.
They're going to get you. Yeah.
And say the name of the movie again.
It's called Two Distant Strangers. It should be up on a bunch of y'all's Netflix things because it just came out like this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Chan. He says that he liked what they were trying to do or wanted to be, but they could have done better with it. Yeah, I thought it was a bit ham-handed in points. And, the young man, he's a young dude. And so, maybe he just let his ego get in the way. But I can tell you right now, there's no way after I got shot twice that I wasn't trying to change up the strategy. You call a Uber or something.
That's just the thing. If it's inevitable, so it's kind of what you say. Groundhog Day meets Trayvon Martin meets motherfucking Final Destination. Like you just
kind of,
from it. Yeah.
But it does end. It does end on a less
traumatic note. Okay.
Right. Yeah. There's some hopefulness that exists. So, but still, nevertheless, it was a challenging movie and a challenging week. And one of the posts I saw on Facebook was the George Floyd or the Derek Chauvin trial about the death of George Floyd was interrupted about the news about the shooting of Dante.
That's not what you're saying. As a matter of fact, I think I have that picture. Hang on. Do I? I do. Not. Yes.
This. Oh no, this isn't.
No, this is it. Okay, well, this is the wrong one, but I'll tell you exactly what it said. The murder of Dante Wright interrupted the ongoing trial of the murder they
George
interrupted the murder of
Floyd.
Dante Wright, which had already interrupted the trial of Derek Chauvin, who was on trial for murdering George Floyd, so they could tell you about the murder of Adam Toledo.
That's what it was.
Right. And so
That-
again,
that was the week.
like we put into the description, it's just been body blows.
Yeah.
All week. Like you can't take a breath without you recovering. And so I'm gonna pull out my coaching hat. There's a lot of different ways to cope. It's fight, flight, or freeze. And the fear is the freezing of I don't know what to do. I'm paralyzed. I get paranoid. I don't want to leave the house. I become agoraphobic, scared of people, and we don't want to be there. We don't want to be fight either because we just can't go out like that. There's battle injustice and there's fighting in the streets. And I mean, no fighting in the streets. And then the flight, you just take off. So what are you doing? I say, I'll be round robin in that shit. So some days I shut it down. Like I said, I don't answer the phone. I get in the bathtub and stay in until the water get cold. Yes, haymakers. It's been straight up knockout punches again and again. But some days I fight, and that's when my thumbs get happy on Twitter. Like, you know what you could do? Let me tell you about yourself right now. Actually, let me pull out this article, and I go hard for about 5-6 minutes, maybe an hour sometimes, and then I let it go. And then sometimes it's straight flight. I escape into the television, into my boyfriend's house, into anything. But I try to always be able to come back to my center, and it gets hard. It seems like I'll go further and further away every time something hits. Like these haymakers are knocking me harder and harder down until it gets harder to get back up, which is why I'm glad. I mean, I have skipped a lot of things this week for mental stability, and I didn't skip this because y'all helped me. I really do appreciate this show. It's nice to see like-minded people, speech with similar speech, similar vulgarity, understanding of our collective, shared history and shared knowledge to sit here. Y'all get it, and all our Sharpies get it. And sometimes I need people to get it and get it away from the corporate space where you got to watch what you say and blah blah blah. Just to sit here and tell y'all that I'm already feeling the puffs I was taking in the commercial.
True that.
And we don't know what's going to happen with me in the next hour. So good luck to y'all.
So why don't we give our?
I need to.
Go ahead. I was
something,
literally
please.
about to. I was about to say, give y'all a chance. It's been the Tom and Joy show for the
Oh, okay. I thought you were going
20
on to the
minutes.
next segment.
No, I'm like, go ahead, weigh in, please.
Chuck, you can clean it up.
What's up, baby? Go ahead, Sharon.
Look, I won't say I'm embarrassed to say this, but I took flight, Joy. I took flight. I immersed myself. I started the week hard. Chucky and I did some early rounds, and I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it because I was angry. I wanted to go to the shooting range. I also wanted to go to my son's school and just hug him, because I got into a chat room early in the week of Black moms. And one of my friends who's, a power lobbyist for a major corporation, and she just had a breakdown on her page. And she has 2 sons, and she just laid out every fear every Black mother has, so eloquently and so succinctly, but she's a fighter. And the vulnerability that she had in there was like almost nothing left. We had to support each other. And one of the things she came up with, she was like, at this point, and she's coiny, she said at this point, she building her retirement budget, because she's an older mom, around hiring a driver for her sons. And then I was with another girlfriend last weekend, and we've been complaining for months how her 20-something refuses to get his driver's license. And I had to step in and say, excuse me, Auntie Sharon withdraws her necessity. He could be an Uber child to he inherits our cars when our hands are old and decrepit. And hopefully he'll be gray-haired as much as possible. Or better yet, we just build in life insurance that he gonna get a driver too. I mean, that is the most ignorant conversation for us to be having.
Mhm.
But we're serious as a heart attack. So we even, we came up with our business model. We, Black moms, we're not calling it Uber pool. We're going to name it one of our pools. And we hiring white drivers. And we straight up are having this ridiculous conversation.
Mhm.
And after that, it was so draining, our pain, our collective pain. My son is 7, and I'm concerned about this. My son is 7. And every time I look at him, I have a moment of PTSD. So I've immersed him in Black world. Thank God we have one of the best elite schools in the city that's all Black for elementary age. He got on the inner city FSU track stars, track league, Tallahassee Zoom. So he's immersed with Black people, and we're the majority, not the minority. And all I'm thinking about is, well, I don't think I want you to go to I-9 as much as I love I-9. Oh, I think you're going to get a private swim coach. I'm going through these episodes of seclusion because I don't feel safe for him and people. He's 7. So this is the level of PTSD. Many of us, some will talk about it, some won't. And I'm a 24/7. I get paid to watch the news. Okay. Let's be clear. I shut down. After those first few days at the beginning of the week, I was like, I just want to be normal. What is normal? You know what I mean? I probably went to my post office box about 4 times just because the people in there are nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
I went out with my friends and some of my mentors. I ain't been out the house in a year. I was like, where we meeting? I'm going to sit on somebody's patio because it was just exhausting. It is exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can say is George Floyd's murderer better be convicted at the early part of next week, period.
Yeah.
They should only be arguing on which charge,
Right.
which charges to give him.
Right.
It's not a if,
it's
how much.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because we've all watched trial even back when we were in college. We all remember the O.J. Simpson trial. Can y'all hear me?
No.
You were
like Scarface. Scarface and Mind playing tricks on me. This shit on? Okay. Yeah, we good. We all remember the OJ trial back in '95. We've watched other trials since, and there's no way to predict how long a jury will deliberate. Sometimes they take 15, 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes they take a day. Sometimes they take several days to figure out what it is that they want to do. I am hopeful that this jury will, number one, get it right and come back with a conviction for the highest charge possible. And I hope, like Sharon said, that they do so quickly, because at the end of the day, if this turns into a 3, 4, 5 day deliberation, a week-long deliberation, that too will not be good for the city of Minneapolis, because this is as open and shut a case that we may ever see in our lifetimes. They're really, I didn't get to watch it gavel to gavel, but I watched enough to know that the prosecutorial team, they dotted all I's, they crossed all T's. And like some of the memes that we have seen that said it's a shame that we live in a country where we have to have a 2-3 week trial to convict somebody who we all saw commit murder. Yeah, it's a trip, but there's a part of me that appreciates the fact that even someone like Derek Chauvin, will get an opportunity to have his day in court. They didn't do him because we're civilized, right? And I just want to make sure I go on that. We are a civilized people. I'm not saying we're a perfect people. There are some black people that do some awful things. We individually have done some awful things in our lives. I'm not one of those who's going to try to get up here like Matt Gaetz and them and act like I've been perfect, and I haven't. But overall, I am civilized, and even my imperfections have never been to the level of mistreating others in the way that white folks have mistreated us since we got brought here in 1619.
Yep.
And one of the things I love about the people that are white that I consider to be friends or even colleagues is I don't have to kiss their ass on air or on my Facebook page and say, I'm so grateful for you to be an ally. Fuck that. I don't have to do that. If you're an ally, you're an ally.
You're an ally.
Yeah, when I'm an ally to somebody, no one has to kiss Chuck Hobbs' ass and say, thank you, Chuck, for being an ally. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, at 40, I'll be 49 on May 20th. And I cannot figure out for the life of me why it is we are still in a posture of begging those who are bereft of any sense of morality. And I don't care if they call themselves Southern Baptists or Catholics or Episcopalians or any of that, because none of those texts from Christ have ever really seeped into their hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it wasn't in their parents' hearts, and it wasn't in their grandparents' hearts either. Those are the white folks that cause me problems. And I'm not begging them to see my humanity. I'm not begging them to treat us fairly. That's what the Constitution says is supposed to happen. And so at the end of the day, for the rest of my life, for how long God sees fit to leave me here, the only thing I want to see done are changes to the laws, litigation when these folks are breaking the laws and killing us. And by any means necessary, whatever happens, happens. Because if by chance Derek Chauvin walks, or even if there's a hung jury next week, I assure you that I won't use whatever platform I have to call for calm, because it's past time for that. Okay. We have sat here in this country for almost 3 months, a little over 3 months now. We saw white folks storm the Capitol. We saw white folks armed. I did a post on Facebook about that today. They were armed at the Capitol. They were armed in Michigan last year. They were armed in Kentucky. They tried to march in Virginia on the Capitol, armed. This is what they do. And yet they don't get shot. They don't get killed. They don't get tasered. And it's enough. It's time out to beg these folks. It's time to force white folks in this country to reconcile that, number one, that Christianity is a sham. It is a sham. It's bullshit. That's what it is. Okay. And at the end of the day, if you're going to call yourself adhering to the United States Constitution on one hand, or even adhering to the text that you claim that you believe in, with your churches, with the blonde, blue-eyed Jesus looking like Barry Gibb.
The first appropriation. They stole a whole ass religion from the Jews and made it about them.
All of that, okay? But if you say that's who you are, then live it, okay? Because at the end of the day, on my feed this week, it was segregation. It was black people crying, lamenting, praying, angry. And it was white folks posting pictures about their dog, or side-by-side comparisons of then and now, and all other sorts of fuck shit that makes you realize that they don't see us as being this equals. And that's cool. But we have enough political power, and there are enough blacks and browns and white people of goodwill to force the change. And I hope that we use our platform to continue to advocate for the forceful change, because I'm not into all that praying and begging and shit like that. I've never been passive in my life. I've always been kind, but I've always been the kind of dude that will beat your ass if you come within my purview. I don't have any problems with that, okay? And I am a Second Amendment guy too. And if it comes to that, it'll come to that too. Not boasting, just telling you who I am and what I do. And we have to imbue our people with that too, because we have too much praying, too much forgiveness, too much please, massa, please. Fuck that. You crackers are going to do what you're supposed to do, because that's what's on paper with the United States Constitution, period. And yes, I said crackers, because that's what They call themselves down here in the Deep South. It ain't Cracker Barrel for no reason. It ain't style houses for no reason. I'm not being a racist. I'm being a realist. So you crackers are going to check up, or there won't be any peace in this country. Period. No peace in the streets. No peace in the courtrooms. No peace in the legislatures across this country. And that's just how I feel about it. And if they don't like it, fuck them. For real.
You know, I went looking for something as you were talking because one of my favorite white entertainers is Stephen Colbert, and he said this. You know, wait, let me get that off. He says, if this is going to be a Christian nation that doesn't help the poor, we have to pretend that Jesus was just as selfish as we are, or we've got to acknowledge that he commanded us to love the poor and serve the needy without condition, and then admit that we just don't want to do it. And you can overlay that to anything. Either you're going to admit that everyone deserves dignity and equal rights, or you're just going to admit that you're a terrible person and you don't want to do it. And if you're a terrible person, own that shit. Don't try to be the moral high ground for the world when you are allowing, in your state of Florida, trying to let people check kids' genitals in the bathroom. If you got half the politicians doing all kind of weird sex things, if you routinely murder sections of your own country just because they're in your way, you can't do all these things and then say, I'm a good person, because you're not. And if you say, well, I didn't do it myself, but you know about it, and you remain quiet because you're making too much money, you like your house, you kind of agree, but you don't want to admit you agree, or your grandfather did it and you don't want to know that you come from terrible stock. So whatever it might be, that is who you are. Own who you are. You know, and do better. You know, if you have terrible genes, then say, you know what, I got terrible genes and I need to like maybe not keep having kids, whatever it might be, you know, because I told y'all this was hitting me. So I'm just saying at the end
get it off your chest, sis.
At the end of the day, I am beyond done with I didn't know. You know what did it for me? I was looking for a clip for one of my classes, and I pulled up Taraji P. Henson in, what was it? The movie about Katherine Johnson, Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures.
And it's the section where she went to the bathroom.
Right.
And she had to run out in the rain and everything. And then her boss is like, where were you? You've been gone 40 minutes. And he's like, you're never where I want you to be. And she's like, I had to go to the bathroom. He's like, you know what? You're never here doing it. I put a lot of faith in you. Like all of a sudden she was failing him. Because even though she's the only one in the room who knows what the hell is going on in space.
Right.
And she went off of him like, you know, I got to go across campus half a mile just to use the bathroom. Did you know that? You know, that's what is going on. But what got me is when she said, you know, and all I can do is come back in here and exist day to day on coffee from a pot that none of you want to touch. And she turned around to everybody in the room. And it makes you understand that they were okay with that passive racism and division all day long, including her boss. That little ugly coffee pot sat next to the huge fancy coffee maker, you know, separate but equal, with colored with a name badge that said colored across it. That's for you. You touch that. They didn't even think about she ain't got no bathroom within half a mile, right? She got to run and run back. And you mad because she was gone for 40 minutes? And so what got me though was not him, you know, the big gesture, the big white savior thing. He knocked down the thing that said women, black colored women's restroom. What got me was you was motherfucking fine with this little ass coffee pot over here, acting like you didn't know I was being discriminated against. And the only reason you came and knocked down this sign was because you wanted me to work longer hours. You still don't see me as equal. You still don't see me as valuable. You just see me as not making enough money for you now. You know?
So if I can, I'll just wade in on this one because that scene made me very upset. And she delivered a bravura performance in that scene. But that didn't happen. That was an invention. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you, that was an invention of the director. And Gregory, where's it? Gregory McFadden said, he said a black director wouldn't have never put that in the movie.
It was to make them feel good.
It
was just to make them feel good. That's
right, because it gave Kevin Costner an ability to knock down a sign.
Now I'm about to go off. Now I'm about to
go off because people have been calling for it. JG, J. Gass is here. Where the hell you at?
Come through, Sharon. Come
I
through.
am trying real hard. One, thank you, Sister Lancaster. She working for us while we on show, inboxing moms with West Africa information. Look, people, part of the Black Moms group that I neglected to say because my brain is fried, we actually also started the chat about leaving the country. And about collectively, and I got some land in Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about Costa Rica forever.
And I sure put it in there. I'm trying to, I'm about to put up a GoFundMe. I'm trying to build our little we call it the Black Mother's Bungalow. Well, we're going to take our sons. And when I saw that West Africa, I was like, we can do that too. But
Ghana's
what's even
beautiful.
deeper for me?
Ghana is beautiful.
Look,
I'll let y'all know.
Anywhere but here. How about that? So
How about
at this
that?
point, but what's even deeper for me, Chuck, you said something that's been like just jacking my back up. When I think about January 6th insurrection, right? I need them to understand, because they think they done rose up, they swolled up, that the same people that y'all calling thugs that's looting is also capable of doing what they did January 6th. Okay, I just need them to have a picture of this.
Because you were complaining about it 6 months ago. So don't get fresh and new.
The thugs and the hoodlums and the this that you want to call our people acting out, and then a crew of y'all said, we're going to show y'all we can act out, and this is how we're going to do it, right? I just need you to know that the switch can go off, okay? It was easy to go into the stores and, take advantage of the moment. But like the sister said, you lucky we don't want revenge. But then I also need you to understand, because, that's a segment of our society, right? And you're hearing this coming out of my mouth and you're like, y'all won't do that. The couple that was on the front lawn with the AK, with the
in St. Louis.
In St. Louis?
Yeah.
As we already see, Missouri's been taken over by us.
Bloop.
You looking at 4 people right now who is capable of being that couple.
Indeed.
So if anybody is confused
and accurate,
okay, if anyone is confused, you saw what my sister Oliver put up there. Okay, there's a whole lot of Black women, Copper Brothers, that's locked and loaded. Okay, Amen. So if you are any bit of confused that we gonna turn it back 402 years. Okay, we talking about hidden figures. We're talking about, we were up in arms of our voting rights and Jim Crow. The reason we turned out, you could keep trying with these laws. We're going to fight you in the courts, and we're going to fight you in the street, and we're going to walk to the polls, right? And I strongly suggest that segment of white America to get some act right. And get some act right real quick. Because all of these little incidences are supposed to, what they did with our ancestors, supposed to stoke fear. So they do these outlandish demonstrations of their power behind ammo. And then there's the brother, lieutenant, that
frat brother
showed us, okay, y'all get one for that one. That's my little Afro-Latino brother. So for me, what he showed us, because my other, whether it's West Africa, whether we move to Costa Rica, or my son goes into United States military like his father, his decorated 25-year military father, which now all of a sudden doesn't look as bad as when all of us were supposed to go to college and other directions, and the military just exposed. Look, the way that brother demonstrated self-control, and everything on his face said, I want to fuck you up.
Indeed.
But he demonstrated something that non-military trained people are not necessarily capable of doing.
Right. And
it took me back to nonviolence training, because all that abuse was at the lunch counters. Our ancestors took that abuse, the spit in their face and the beating and the whipping, and desegregation was a mofo, people. But I noticed today that level of training really only exists in the military. And that I'm juxtaposing that to how that brother escaped that moment alive. because he was the master of de-escalation.
He was.
Those crazy people were doing everything. The little scared boy who's scared to stand up for the maniac, who is clear to me, he got thrown out the military, trying to tout some veteran status.
Mm-hmm.
Even the lieutenant in that moment said, "Oh, active duty, motherfucker." Okay. He was like, "You're gonna try me. You're gonna try all my decoration, but I'm gonna exercise the discipline of my ancestors during nonviolent demonstrations where you just could not de-escalate your behavior. And we did mind, body, and soul control to put up with your garbage to advance ourselves through the law."
Yeah.
And what did this brother do? We didn't hear about him for 3 months. The first time we heard about him is when he dropped that what? Lawsuit.
Absolutely.
So I have a different level of admiration for him. His demonstration in self-control, his demonstration is, my life is not worth it for you to take it out. I won't give you the satisfaction of taking me out. I'm going to do everything in my power to maintain, because it took did you see how they literally had to force him to the ground? He was like, y'all going too far. And I could feel every ounce of his energy like, I'm going to resist calmly as possible as I submit. But when he was what I know for sure, just diverging for a moment, what got the people that could care less about our humanity was the fact that he was concerned about his dog. Can you sit with that for a minute?
Yeah.
But that's a common thread.
When he said, I felt all the white people say, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
He stopped spraying him so that he could open up the window so his dog wouldn't cough.
Right.
We've always been worth less than pets.
But all of these things went through my mind. Like, okay, are you going to convict them like you did Michael Vick for abusing an animal? You know, all of these things went through my mind as I watched that in loop, with how he was able to maintain his self-control, was able to have that level of self-control through something that everything on his face was, y'all are pushing the limits. But he not only showed in action his words, he did everything he could to de-escalate that moment. For that cracker to turn around and look at him and say, "I'm gonna do you a favor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to report you. My life will not change." I was like, I felt every ounce of, and I have to say how personal this is. I married a man who every day got up in that uniform.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who you are, that's how you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All the dress up and medals and stuff where everybody's like, "Oh, no, all of them go to work like that. They don't put on all the blues and all of that unless they in a formal ceremony."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the whole look for my Detroit-born black man, Brother Hicks, all I kept saying was, I was like, can he do that? Can Brother Hicks? And my husband is cray-cray, okay? But he married me, so he's super cray-cray. And he has absolute discipline to de-escalate. Because you have to be married to me, okay? But he is straight crazy, but he understands the ability to de-escalate a situation. He got a fuse, like, depending on who it is, but he understands de-escalation. But when I saw, I don't think he could have done what that brother did in that car, though. But I was so impressed by all the things that I've been exposed to as a military wife to see how that brother's training came into play. Because the streets are not going to give you that. And it made me really believe that we need to start preparing all of our children for nonviolence training. We're not going to all have the benefit of there's minuses in the military, but that's a requirement to have that kind of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And how do we reinstill that in the civilian world to give our children a chance to not be a statistic?
Yeah.
One of the things I believe we need to do.
I want to bring up another graphic. I found this on Instagram, and I'm going to bring it up real quick. I found it on Instagram, and what I find interesting is this got shared widely, and people were like, "Oh, this is a great sentiment." I don't know who wrote this, and blah blah blah. So the guy who actually wrote this was like, "This isn't a joke.
Right.
This is my freaking life, and I want y'all to understand that this is my day to day, And so I love this because, you read what it says, and it says, "I need to drive my 2-year-old to daycare tomorrow morning. To ensure we arrive alive, we won't take public transit because Oscar Grant. I removed all air fresheners from the vehicle and double-checked my registration status because Dante Wright. Ensured my license plates were visible, Lieutenant Karen Nazario. I will be careful to follow all traffic rules, Philando Castile. Signal every turn, Sandra Bland. Keep the radio volume low, Jordan Davis. And it won't stop at a fast food chain for a meal, Rashard Brooks. I'm too afraid to pray, Reverend Clemento C. Pickney, so I just hope the car won't break down, Corey Jones. When my wife picks him up at the end of the day, I'll remind her not to dance, Elijah McCain. Stop to play in a park, Tamir Rice. Patronize the local convenience store for snacks, Trayvon Martin. Once they're home, we won't stand in our backyards, Stephon Clark, or eat ice cream on the couch, Botham Jean, or play any video games, a Tatiana Jefferson. After my wife and I tuck him into bed around 7:30, neither of us will leave the house to go to Walmart because of John Crawford, or to the gym, Sharon Oates, or on a jog, Ahmaud Arbery. We won't even walk to see the birds, Christian Cooper. We'll just sit and try not to breathe, George Floyd, and not to sleep, Breonna Taylor. Now, this blew my mind because what he's talking about is when we talk about paralyzing fear, the fight, flight, or freeze, that is a freeze statement that he's put together. He's saying, I don't know, I can't do anything other than try not to do anything that's gotten other people killed, including breathe and sleep. I can't breathe. I can't go outside. I can't get any sunlight. I can't watch the birds. I can't dance. I can't show joy. I can't be too happy. I can't be too sad. I can't be too energetic. I can't sit still, but I need to smile because I don't want them to think I'm not happy, because then that can start something else. And then if they get offended, then now I got a whole nother problem. I can't go to the store. You can't do any goddamn thing. You can't even sit at home and eat ice cream on the couch. And so for the white people watching, when we talk about living with a crippling fear, that's the crippling. It's not fear of, oh Lord, what is Master gonna do to us? It's, I can't move. I can't move left or right, because who tells the story? The person who lives through the outcome. That's the one who's writing these false police reports. Oh, he went for my gun and blah, blah, blah. He had weapons on him. He had drugs on him. Just like Dave Chappelle said a long time ago, they kill you and then they just sprinkle some crack across you. And if you think about how many false police reports there are, it absolutely changes the statistics about the criminalization of Black people. How many folks have been falsely accused, falsely arrested, told to plead to something that they didn't do just so they could go home that day because of the cash bail system. All of this plays into this story that, so-called open-minded white people want to say, well, it's not us. It seems like Black people just do more crime. That's because y'all keep pinning shit on us and killing us so we can't tell our part. How many, somebody put that in the chat that said Will Smith had that video that said, it's not that racism is getting worse, it's getting filmed. And that is absolutely the difference. It's no more, first it was nobody knew what happened. So up until you had body cams, whatever the cop said was true. If you live through it, you might try to protest, but chances are they won't come do you a favor and let you go this time, even though got a broken eye, and a broken cheekbone or whatever, but you get to go home. So you take your little broken cheekbone and you go be quiet and live with that trauma for the rest of your life, right? But now they got body cams that they magically turn off every time they want to go shoot somebody. So now we got our own camera phones. This is the best thing and worse things happen. It's the best thing that happened to us as far as trying to prove this, but it's terrible from a mental standpoint because we are all collectively traumatized across this country and even across the ocean. Because I got friends in Great Britain that are like, I can't take this. What's happening? I can't even get to my relatives and my friends in the States. And, I don't have enough. One girl told me, she goes, I wish I had more space, but I live in a 1-bedroom flat and I can't get all 15 of my friends in here with me. And so that's where we are. So again, to all the white folks watching, don't discount or minimize what we're going through, because your best case scenario is we roll our eyes and walk away from you. Your worst case is a good open hand slap in the mouth. So be careful how you talk to people, especially until this trial is over. All right. I'm telling you, that is a PSA. That is a straight up PSA.
I want to jump in really quickly because all of this talk about the idea of this country and people who were talking about Colin Kaepernick kneeling and disrespecting the flag and da-da-da-da-da-da. I just need to remind people that the very first words on the piece of paper that started this country were a damn lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Declaration of Independence starts, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we are seeing state agents deprive us of life, deprive us of liberty. You can't pursue either if the former two are not present. And it is more than self-evident that we are not created equal. And here's, neither are we all men when 50% of the population are women too. Go ahead, Joy, because I do have something I need to finish.
When you say it's more than evident that you said it was more than self-evident that we are not created equal. We're created equal. The problem is they've never acknowledged our equality. So we were all put here equally, right, with our different, diversity, strengths, etc. But them having the power through economic and military force to murder anybody that disagreed with the fact that white people need to be on top, and that is their natural order. All of that started from there. We were equal before that.
I'm just saying it was a lie because they didn't believe that the black men and women were equal. They didn't believe we were even men, really.
Right, Jason.
And so you try to contextualize something that is beheld as beloved to the class of people to whom it inured the most benefit. And you're surprised when black folks are like, F that flag. Or even in, I don't know how many of y'all are watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that's kind of a thing that's going on in literally the series this week, and it came full to a head in.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it.
I'm not going to spoil it, but what I will say, I don't know how many of the folks in our audience, how many Sharpies knew this. Caron Nazario, the Army lieutenant, my frat brother, is a blood relative to Eric Garner.
Wow.
And watched them kill. He called him his uncle. I don't think they were. He's probably like a big cousin, something like that. But a blood relative. Watched them murder him on television, and then found himself in a similar situation. Now they have fired that one cop, the one who was an Army vet. Mm-hmm. And he tried to, once he realized how out of pocket he was and how he pulled over the wrong one, because you said you pulled him over because he didn't have license plates, but he had the plate taped to his car because it was a new car. So you realize your whole premise for pulling him over was wrong. Mm-hmm. And then you decided you were going to get real cute and pretend to be magnanimous because you wanted to protect his career. You know what got de-escalated? Your pension.
Yeah.
You ain't got no job. And you did that right quick.
Yeah.
And just like the chick who I won't even call her an officer, the chick who shot Dante, talking about, I thought it was my gun.
Can you believe that?
Girl, Pat Robertson called you out on that bullshit.
Yeah.
But can you, let's process that.
Because I
Okay.
mean, honestly, you sat there and see what's worse is you look in the footage, she's holding the gun for like 40 seconds and you see it in her camera phone. It's like
she's waiting for a chance,
all
almost
in
like
the
she's trying to
screen.
do, like she's trying to do double dutch. When you look at the video, it's like she's waiting for her chance for this other dude to get out the way so that she can get a clean shot. It's really and I've had beef all week.
Bang. Girl, what?
Why did the dude cop even move out the way? He was large. Dante Wright might have been 150 pounds, 160 maybe. So any man, especially a large cop like the guy who moved out the way for her to shoot, not trying to be funny, y'all, I would have snatched Dante Wright's little ass right up out that car and been like, you're under arrest. And it would have been no sweat to do it. Do you get what? And so I'm like, what are you doing? And that goes to something that bothers me too. And I've got to put it out here. I talk to my best friend, one of our frat brothers, Kenny Tate, about this all the time. We have cops now, the older end of the cop spectrum are our contemporaries. They grew up in the 80s with us. They grew up listening to the same music, watching the same movies. They watched Rocky and they wanted to be Rocky. I watched Rocky and I wanted to be Apollo Creed, right?
I wanted to be Clubber Lang.
See what I'm saying? Okay. So these are our contemporaries. But a lot of times, a lot of these guys that are on the force now, and some of these women, they subtly despised us all along. All right. They weren't their parents' generation where they were just using N-word all over the place. That's not who they were. But they sat in class and they recognized, I'm not as smart as Chuck. I'm not as smart as Tom, Sharon, or Joy. But I've been told all my life that all black people are dumb. And then they go to class and realize, well, shit, I can't think like this guy. I can't outright him. I can't out quiz bowl him. I can't beat his ass. When he and the boys are playing basketball at lunch, I can't get a run because I'm flicked and can't ball. You get where I'm coming from? The girls like him and his friends, and they don't like me. And so what happens is they leave high school. They didn't go to college, most of them. Let's call that out too. There are studies out that show the majority of black police officers have up to master's, if not doctoral degree level educations. Many of the white officer friendlies out here, maybe a little bit of community college. And I'm not casting aspersions at people who don't go to college. You can have a great life without going to college. But what I'm suggesting here is these ones who subtly despised black people all along, all right, in the 80s and the 90s, now what they do, they went to the law enforcement academy. Now they're tough guy because they've got their weapon and they've got their taser and they can go out and they can kick ass and be like, I never liked Tom and Chuck. So I'm going to kick ass of everybody that looks like Tom and Chuck because I never liked Tom and Chuck. I'm mad that Sharon and Joy wouldn't give me the time of day because I was flicked back in the day and nobody paid me any attention. And so those deep-seated biases that they have, all right, it's different from what their grandparents and great-grandparents had in regards to hating blacks, but they had proximity to us and hated us all the same. And that fear comes from the fact that they knew they were not our equals as men and women. That's been the greatest sham that has ever been perpetrated on our people here in this country, is even the concept that we were taught, oh, black, we got to be twice as good. That assumes that most of our white colleagues were even good. Many of them were below par. Okay, and I get what the euphemism was about. It was about, yeah, no matter how good you are as a black person, you still have to be twice and 3 times as good to get ahead, because they will, like my boy Kenny Tate, who has a master's degree in building construction from the University of Florida, he'll tell you straight out that many times when he started his construction company, there were people who would not extend credit to him in the same way they would the white boy who went to nobody's college, but whose daddy and granddaddy were in the same Lions Club or the same Kiwanis or the same Clavern as the bank owner. Do you get where I'm coming from? And able to get all the money that they want. So those are the things that we need to talk about when we're talking about Generation X and what have you. What are our allies that are white the ones who did not hate us, the ones who liked us, the ones who come and even comment on our pages now. What are they going to do? Yes, I appreciate the Chuck. That's right on. That's great. Tom, Joy, I just love you guys. You are just so great. That's cool. I get that. But what are you talking about in your churches? What are you talking about in your homes? Are you going to the city hall meetings and to the legislative sessions and saying enough is enough is enough? That's what we need you to do. I don't need a pat on the back. I need you to use your white agency to be able to go and advocate for what you know is right, because many of your kinsmen, racial kinsmen, they know it's wrong, and they're going to continue to do wrong until the laws have some teeth.
You know, that reminds me of something that I'm trying to get up right now. Let me see if I can get this loaded. This is what happens when you see something greater than yourself. You know, and this embodies for me everything around white supremacy. Yeah, I want to put on an outfit. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to be angry. Now look at this black dude. He is 150 pounds soaking wet, if that. I can see his ribs through the t-shirt in the picture. But he's a little bit taller and he's yelling at this guy. He's not even armed. And this big tough dude who came out to march and show his ass pissed his pants on the thought of what might happen to him. Yeah, you can stand there like you want to, but you know what? That's like them little dogs, and then just back up. That's what he did. So yeah, messing with this, because all of them, whenever I see them on TV talking bad, I always remember this picture.
Yeah, I wanted you to put that back up because you said the piss his pants and then you sent it away. It's right there in the crotchal region. That's not a shadow.
I sure didn't see it the first time. So
that's what I'm saying. You had to call it out because
Yes.
I was like, he does look like he's kind of back. Oh, that's urine.
Yes.
Wow.
This is mine, and that's urine.
That is urine full of Red Bull and Tennessee hooch, I'm sure.
And despair.
And despair. And, you know, tainted water. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. My thing is, you know, don't stop playing for, like, you know, somebody mentioned earlier the young man who also kept his cool. He was walking in his neighborhood. He had on like socks and flip-flops. Who goes into another neighborhood in socks and flip-flops? Clearly he lived around the corner. And a big white guy was standing over him. You know, hey, go home. Go home. Where do you live? You don't be like, this is a tight-knit neighborhood. I know all my neighbors. He was like, how long have you lived here?
Moved to town. You know, moved to town in 2019.
Exactly. Exactly. And so this young man who did a really good job of maintaining his composure, never disrespected that dude because he knew that would lead to violence. He's like, sir, I live here. Sir, I live around the corner. Sir, you're following me. You know, I'm not doing anything to you. And then, like, you can hear this little lady off the corner, like, running her mouth. He's like, ma'am, I don't know. Don't you talk to my wife. And that goes back to what I'm always talking about, how they love to categorize black men as aggressive, and they always got to save the white woman. So the minute he talked to her, dude got super hyper, you know, King Kong on him. Don't you talk to my wife.
Had to chime in. I could not believe she chimed in.
Also, not his wife. Also not his wife. So just so we're clear,
that brother was willing
that's
to
a
take our ass
girlfriend,
kicking.
which is fine. Be your girlfriend or whatever. But again, you're using language to intimidate that young man.
Yeah.
Who was not intimidated. Let's be clear. Even though the not wife was built like a linebacker, which is fine. I mean, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you see a group of black women walking in the street at the same time. I'm
That's
like,
right.
What are you doing?
As this is going on, the black women are just chilling. Like, I mean, but he was certainly very fezzed up with his stuff. And
you think he was coked out, Tom? You think he might have been coked out?
I'm not going to speculate on his consumption of illicit substances, but what I do know is that he has lost his job, which is something I would think in this economy you might think twice about. Now, he was definitely on something. The young man said he smelled drunk, so it would not surprise me that he was liquored up, because he was doing the most.
He was. He really.
And now he has lost his job.
Well, he got more time to walk around the neighborhood asking for money.
Yep.
He could become
Help.
George Zimmerman.
Or maybe he'll have to move because he can't afford the mortgage on that house because I'm sure it's not paid for.
Oh yeah. No. Mm-mm.
But I'm just going through some of the comments that we missed while I was off on a rant. I apologize because I was having a moment. But like Jason said, they don't really want the smoke. Alluding to what Sharon said earlier, you don't want this, you don't want no problems. And one of the reasons people say, why do you always live in the city, Joy? Because I know where I live. I wish you would try to make it through the SWATs and DeKalb and Decatur and Herndon Holmes to get into Midtown. You ain't gonna make it, son. And the same thing when I lived in Houston. I wish you would try to get through 5th Ward and Sunnyside and 3rd Ward to try to get downtown because you ain't gonna make it. Matter of fact, the picture that I showed of a dude peeing on his pants wasn't even the picture I was looking for, because there was another picture of another guy, and this guy was much bulkier, and he was yelling to the side at a black man who was his height, maybe a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit shorter. Again, big fluid spot on the front of his jeans, but it was from an actual march that the NRA supporters did in Houston, Texas, to talk about gun rights, etc. And they decided they were going to march through a black neighborhood, and they marched literally 1 block into that black neighborhood. Pee pants happened, and they took their asses on up out of there. And they didn't even get accosted. All they did was have black people in the street like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why you here?"
Right.
And, yeah.
But
oh gosh, we got to get out of there. Same thing. Remember when they went to go storm the Capitol, and we saw that video of they tried to park on a black street, and the black folks like,
"Oh yeah, you better get from around here."
yeah, get in your car, gone, lily livered.
Yeah.
Listen. The University of Chicago just put out a study this week breaking down the demographics of those that attended the January 6th insurrection. There was a lot of white collar professionals out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of educated people in that audience. We just have to be aware. Everybody ain't trailer park. Everybody, they are debuting. They are debuting in every sector of society.
That's right.
Civilian, military, educated, not so much. White collar professions, blue collar professions, and I haven't had a chance to download the study. They just debuted it a few hours ago, but University of Chicago actually did a demographic breakdown, particularly around the 370 people who have been arrested. And this week, people are starting to cut deals and plead guilty.
We got the first pleading.
Yeah. And so that story is not over, but I can't be more clear on look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, because it's not just one sector of white society that is carrying this level of hate, animosity, privilege, downright superiority. I mean, white supremacy sometimes is such an inflated world. Yeah. We hear white supremacy and we immediately think of trailer park, and we immediately think of, how they may show up in ways out in the rural America.
Half the folks I used to work with, I would put in that category. And some of them have come for me in the past on my Facebook page. One of them came for me recently on LinkedIn. And what he came for me for was over like the inequality between women and men's wages. And I'm really looking at him like, Kevin, why are you on my page like this? Kevin, what do you want, Kevin? Well, Kevin, let's talk about it. Yes, I'm saying his name because I hope he gets in trouble. But Kevin had a whole lot to say because he never felt comfortable ever since everybody whooped his virtual ass back in 2013 when he had something sassy to say about Black people in police on my page in 2013. He unfriended me, which is fine. We weren't friends, no way. And then now here we are again in 2021. You got something else to say and got your ass handed to you again, Kevin. So how about you stop? But he can't, because his whole identity is built up in Joy's not as good as me. It's always been that way. I feel sorry for you, Kevin. Good luck to you.
Kevin.
I swear, Sharpies don't play.
I thought that was a euphemism for Karen at first.
No, you see what Greg? You look at Gregory.
Oh, I see. Gregory said, and the last name is.
Yes, Gregory said, add that last name.
I ain't gonna go that far. I don't want to face no lies. There's lots of Kevins out there.
I can name a few people from elementary school.
He knows.
And,
I bet you won't come for me though, Kevin.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This is my 10th anniversary on Facebook. My first day on was March 1st of 2011, and really? I can tell you that in the last 10 years, so some of our 6F people that I've known through the years, they used to be really eager to come on and wade on, but they know better, and I think you all, the three of you, as well as everybody who's a Sharpie and who watches for that, it always trips me out sometimes because some of them I'm actually cool with. They are quasi allies, and when I say quasi, I mean they're not as strong as I need them to be, and they're right. The ones that I'm talking to tonight, which is get your ass in gear and use your white skin and white agency to do better because you know better. But they say stuff like they're scared to come on my page and talk because of people like my friend. She's on there, Stacy right now, but they're scared of Stacy, and they're scared of a whole bunch of other friends. I ain't gonna call out like, man, I'm scared to come on and talk because your friends, wow, they're really sharp. I can't get a word in edgewise. And I'm like, yeah, you can't come on our pages with that bullshit and think it's gonna walk. I mean, if you're gonna come and talk, you better come correct. And so with that, I thank all of you because again, there's so many of us who are so bright and so passionate about these issues because these are our lives. I mean, I think that the situation with the young man in South Carolina, you know, one of Joy, your Spelman sister, Monique Lynn, my classmate, she's commenting on the post here, but she lives there. And she put on my post the other day that that's where her husband rides his bike, that same area on those same streets. Okay. And, you know, and I remember at the class reunion 2 years ago, I actually saw them and I didn't really get to formally meet him, but her husband's a big guy. I mean, like I say, I'm a big guy and Tom's a big guy, but that dude's about 6'5", 6'6". I mean, you know, and it's one of those things where nobody's going to run up on him. And that's what bothered me too about the sergeant is that our brother comported himself really well. Mm-hmm. He was not scared. But that guy wouldn't have put hands on Tom Cunningham at 6'4", 6'5". He wouldn't have put hands on me at 6'1" like that. It wasn't going to go down like that. And so that too, it's a lot of classic bullies that are out here. That's what I'm trying to get at. And we have to stop that shit. Check it every time it rears its ugly head. And I was glad, I think Brother McFadden noted that the sergeant major and the commanding general for where that guy is stationed right now are both black. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to him moving forward in terms of his military career, all because he wouldn't let a brother walk down
the street.
His streets where he lives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was
for 1 year and 3 months.
Mm-hmm. One, that was total bullying. Two, he was on the sidewalk. That ain't
right.
I was like, all of that I so respected how that young man, I think he was willing to take an ass whooping just to catch it on screen.
Right.
I saw so much. Again, another moment of wow.
But can we be clear on something? It was the Karen righteously filming all of this. Like,
right.
This is the evidence we need that's gonna blah, 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 blah. Girl, you had to leave your house.
Dumb.
Because you thought you were slick. To that point, because somebody said, come on, Cletus, I want you to invite your ignorant ass Kevin friends to an episode and tell them they love comments.
Karen and Kevin's are welcome.
Karen and Kevin's. You go on ahead and have them break their mouth slick.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can always use a workout. These COVID pounds can, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's virtual because I cannot quite say I have the level of de-escalation ability.
No, I just remember a couple of weeks ago when we had one of our StreamYard people try to say something slick, and Joy broke the seventh seal.
Yeah, Joy was about it.
So, I'm here for it. Come on, Cletus. We are adding Come on, Cletus as an official segment. If you get the Karens, you bring the Karens, we'll bring the Cletus.
Bring the Cletus.
So it's all the
don't try.
Cletus you need, Cletus.
We have collectively between us over 100 years worth of education. Don't bring
Right.
your ass up in here thinking you're gonna say something.
Yeah.
And if you do, say something else.
What you don't understand is
Yeah.
there's not a word coming out of your mouth that I'm not capable of not only understanding, rebutting, refuting, and putting you in your entire place.
Mhm.
So come with it. We here.
Right.
We here. You know where we be at.
Right.
We
We are out of control.
I mean, look. What time does ABC close, Chuck?
You
Not
still
ABC.
good for about 11.
My house is dry.
You still good about
Some more
11.
time? Okay.
Yeah, you still good.
Because the only time my husband has no de-escalation ability is when somebody tries me, and I'm like, dude, all his Detroit come out in him. You know,
yeah.
It's
It's so cold in the deep.
When he by himself, I have hope, but don't mess with his wife. I feel for any fool.
I should not have done that. That is not something that is appropriate. I have been called big boned in my life. So I certainly am not in a position to disparage big boned activityness. But madam.
Mm-hmm.
Accent on the damn.
Yeah.
So
I got something I want to show. You know what?
Go
Give me a
ahead,
second
show
because
it.
I'm gonna try to load it. And this is always encapsulated for me. But don't put me up yet because I'm trying to find it. This is always encapsulated for me exactly what it means when we talk about mediocrity and how we end up having to deal with. Here it is. Let it load for a second. How we have to deal with being twice as good to get half as much, not getting our just desserts, not getting our due, and having other people who have been given so many advantages get mad when all we want to do is be in the game.
Right.
And so, and this is near and dear to the hearts of all of us. I'm not Atlanta native, but I feel like when all of us Atlanta folks, you know who Mr. Freeze is. If you go to a Braves game, sometimes they'll do this little thing where they let a fan race Freeze, because Freeze is actually a former track star in costume. But if you can be Freeze with a lead, then you get a prize, a shirt, or whatever. So here's what happened one day, and this for me, this embodies the future of the white society that refuses to play nice.
Beat the freeze. They give the contestant a head start, and then watch this guy in the freeze suit.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Watch this, folks.
I mean, the guy had what, a 200-foot head start?
At least.
Look at this guy go.
This guy is beautiful. Look at this guy.
The guy thought he was going to win.
Exactly. Oh, it's where he belongs, right in the dirt.
That is funny.
I did not see that coming.
That is funny.
I didn't know how much longer he had to run. I didn't know he was at the end. But you saw 6F tiring out.
Yeah, that bear jumped on that back. Yeah,
That's why I got my 7-year-old in track, damn it.
Mhm.
He was on that damn Terminator 2 shit like.
Yeah, he walked them down.
That was
On your
hilarious.
left.
Right on your
Right. That is funny.
That embodies everything for me. I always think of that video because what it's saying is you had your head start.
Right.
You were doing well, but then you got a little cocky, and your successive generations ain't about shit.
They want you to show it again, Troy. They want you to show it again.
No. When we
The
finish,
crew,
we're
the
gonna play
Sharpies
that
wanna
out.
see it.
We're gonna play that out. We're gonna play
We
that
got
out.
something else to play out, though.
No, I don't think that's appropriate for the level of family that we got going on. We'll say that to the next show.
Fine.
Thank you.
It's timeless.
Yes, it's timeless, Tom.
Jason says, me.
Pew. The fastest word in the English language is pew. 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 Oh my God.
And he had the nerve to hold his hands up like, I'm about to win the
winning.
I'm about to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So, if you come
for us in 2021, that's what you can expect.
But not only that, you had a head start. You had every advantage given to you
for 402 years,
and you squandered it. And now that I have been training, all my people got blades. All my people working their ass off, and we coming for you. Now with guns, now with violence, but with intelligence and with strategy. And now, in the middle of you celebrating your false victory, boom, you know why? You ain't ready. You don't want no kind of smoke, no kind of way.
Thank you.
You can't handle the smoke.
No, they can't.
That was hilarious.
That was everything. That was everything. And it wasn't just that he lost, because you've seen, like, there was a bicycle race one where the person thought they were about to win in the bicycle race, whatever. It was that when he turned his head, it immediately, like, you just didn't know you had a foot anymore. And all of a sudden you were eating clay. You just face planted. And Mr. Freeze is like,
just moving. Mm-hmm.
So
that was January 6th, Judgment Day.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad y'all played that. I had never seen that before.
That gave me life. That gave me life. I'm just like, that was just everything.
Squandered victory.
Right. If you had just done what you're supposed to do,
well, you still would have lost.
As you could,
right? You still would have lost.
You had a better chance of winning. And if you can't win when you're given every advantage, then maybe you should move aside and admit that you are not the better person.
Right.
Meanwhile, this dude who has multiple talents and everything recognizes that he has been held back for 40 yards.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna catch your ass.
And that's why. In Get Out, the grandpa put himself in a black runner because Jesse Owens beat him. He never got over it.
Jesse.
Dumbass.
But that whole aggrandizing, but give it up for me, I'm so great. And then you look around and realize, in like a slow motion, oh shit, the black people adjust my
Yeah, and in the middle of your oh no slow-mo, you fall on the flow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I needed that.
I'm sweating.
That was life. that was life, liberty, and the pursuit of edge gathering. Because damn, you tried it. You tried it.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on, Kevin. You can do it. You're special, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
I need some Patron.
But see, Alvin, it's not even Alvin. It's not even the tortoise and the hare, because the tortoise had the head start, and the hare was the one who was late. The brother was like super hare.
Actually, they started at the same time, and the hare took off, and then he stopped and take a nap.
Chilled, right? He chilled, and the turtle.
But that's what happened. He had this head start, and then he got cocky and was like, "Oh, look at me, everybody!"
Thank you, Jason Hayes. Thank you. Who celebrates a participation trophy?
Right.
That's like those contests where they say, "Do you think you could last a round with Mike Tyson?"
Like, no.
You run around the ring. Yeah, like if he catches you, it's over.
Yeah.
But like if you just kind of dance around and try to run and do whatever, you might be able to last. But if he lands that one punch, that does not make you beat Mike Tyson. That means you ran and you got lucky.
Absolutely.
I could last a round with Mike Tyson. Because the minute the fight started, I'm going to jump on him and I'm going to wrap my legs around his waist. And I'm going to just hug him and be like, Mike, I'm going to be like, all it is like, Mike, we ain't
She's going to bite him in his ear.
Yeah, I'm not going to bite him. I'm going to talk real slow, real soft. And say, Mike, we ain't even got to do this, man. Look, I'm going to give you half this money. You just walk around with me in your arms for about another 60 seconds. And it's going to be me and you, son. We can split this money. It would be great. And I'm going to have a talk show when it's over. And I'm going to invite you on. We can talk about it. It'll be a whole thing.
Joy,
Them gummy bears are
Joy,
sitting in
you don't
you.
even have to do all that because really, I like the way
Those
that
gummies
it
are
feels
sitting
with
in
your
you.
legs around my waist, and I'm perfectly fine with letting you win. Go ahead, Joy. It's great. It's wonderful.
Jesus, Lord
This
Jesus.
show is off the
Lord
rails. I
Jesus.
love y'all so much. So much.
I love you all
Jerome,
too.
thank you for the compliment, Jerome.
Where's Jerome? Compliment.
None of your business.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, all right for privé.
Right? What are we supposed to be talking about? I forgot.
I'm supposed to be talking about getting out of here.
Yeah.
Because I am in production. I do want to give a shout out to my entire HBCU family. We are all HBCU people here, and this is the weekend of the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. Maybe I shouldn't have promoted it on this show with all of that stuff. But for those of you who are watching, please tune in to hcast.com and watch, or go to the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge Facebook page or our YouTube page and comment. And just like your comments appear on our feed, you may have a comment appear on the actual broadcast. We have Lincoln, University of Pennsylvania. We have Oakwood. We have Alabama A&M. We have North Carolina A&T. We have North Carolina Central. We have Florida A&M University. We have Morehouse College.
Is this the championship or is this just
This is the championship. No, these are the final 8 games that are going to determine the winner of the national championship this year. And so we had to do it all virtually. And our students are prepared. They are ready for action. Their loins have been girded. And so they are going to do all of that. And since I have to get away to go back to that, I know you don't, but I'm going to sign off. And you all can continue the conversation. But before I go, could you please just play that video one more time? Just so I could watch
Play
Mr.
the
Freeze.
video.
Play the video.
Beat the freeze. They give the contestant a head start, and then watch this guy in the freeze suit.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's more than 40 yards, though, right? Look at his legs. His legs are already moving shorter. Mr. Freeze looks like a damn animated character.
This guy is beautiful. Look at the guy.
Beat that, but that.
Kevin! Oh, Kevin!
Beat dirt, Kevin.
Beat out the dot bot.
Wait. Do y'all watch Tony Baker? That moment was definitely skip that diddly dee.
I cannot. Oh, that is life. That is so much life. This guy is beautiful. And he's raising his hands. He thinks he's going to win it. I just it was like Eddie Murphy and Delirious talking about my shoe. Falling down the back stairs. Don't be Kevin. That's right, Carla. Don't be Kevin. Don't be Kevin.
So,
all right, y'all. You all enjoy the rest of the show.
I think that's a great wrap.
Yeah.
I think it's a great wrap too. But Joy said she wasn't done, so I'm not going to steal her joy.
Y'all can leave. I got things to say.
You're gonna just talk to the audience.
Yes.
Joy show. We're all gone. It's the Joy show.
Trying to have photorealism in the beginning of our PSA was a tactical error. And so, y'all don't get what you get. But I will tell you this. All I really wanted to do is if y'all can stick around for a little longer, was talk about last week's Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. Yeah.
So we're gonna forego all the gangsters of the week, and I'm gonna just stick with mine. Because I got the controls now. My gangster of the week is Ayo. The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora Milaje find themselves to be.
Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora Milaje find themselves to be.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you haven't seen last Friday's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I don't care if you're not watching the whole season. If you got Disney Plus, that scene brought as much joy to me as the race brought to Tom.
Get it?
Because
Florence is better. No, Florence is better.
She whooped. Yeah, there's a whooping, and then there's a whooping. She whooped his ass. Captain America didn't stand a chance. A bunch of girls from Africa beat his
ass.
And it was everything I didn't know I needed to see on television.
Listen, I said it because I've been on Team Recast T'Challa. I said, if Ryan Coogler wants to make Ayo Black Panther for the second movie, you got to bring back T'Challa eventually. But if you want to go F Shuri can put the claws down. You give Ayo them claws, and I am with it. Because Florence Kasumba, she's also an Amazon. Let's be clear. She's an Amazon, even though that movie is horrible. But she was an Amazon in that. And she's the head of the Dora Milaje. And when she tossed that spear through his shield straps, he could move.
Y'all gotta see it. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all got
to watch it. Y'all got to watch it. And you can double dip because they just dropped episode 5 today. So you can sit there for 2 hours and get your entire Florence. So I mean, she's much more in episode 4 than she is in episode 5. But your life is available to be gotten because episode 5 has a lot of stuff that is related to the show we did today. So, oh man. Well, I'm not gonna hide that because if they haven't seen it, I'm not gonna put that spoiler out there because I almost lost it when she pulled that move that you're talking about, Alvin. And the look on Bucky's face, priceless.
Bucky was like, "What? Hey, bro.
Did you think we would give you a weapon that we could not disarm?"
Right. I didn't say that. That was funny. But you know what? I was looking for this one meme and I can't find it fast enough. But it was a picture of fake Cap because he will never be real Captain America. He's a jerk. Fake Cap putting his hand on her shoulder.
How?
And the caption says, "It was at this moment that all Marvel fans knew he done fucked up."
Oh, and I mean,
she beat him.
She beat
him like he was a crash test dummy.
He couldn't do Nan. He couldn't do Nan. And then he had the audacity to use a shield on a bunch of women who are also wielding vibranium weapons. Brother, do you not know what it is thou dost do?
Right. The shield belongs to Wakanda in the first place. Remember that.
I mean, let's kind of be clear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but did you know they could do that? No, clearly you didn't. You know who I am? He was like Captain America. She was like, "Don't nobody give a damn who you are, Kevin."
Really don't, Kevin.
That's gonna be the thing.
Oh no, he was Kevin. He was Kevin.
Yeah.
And at the end, he was extra Kevinish at the end.
Matter of fact, I got something for everything. I wanted to put this up too because this is so true.
Oh yeah.
So true. This is how I would say white America sees itself and how the world sees white America. And the reason I put white on that is because I believe that all of us, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native, etc., we know what this country has done. We've been on the receiving end of it. And so, you could just as easily put up Superman and the hero from The Boys. Same thing. You think he's great, but you psychotic as fuck.
You need to watch tonight's episode, Joy.
Okay.
You need to watch it. Like for real, you need to watch it. If you want to watch Florence kick ass again and then watch it, that's what Disney Plus do. Click on episode 4 and just let it run into episode 5. I'm just telling you.
Cap does look real West Virginia.
Virginia. That chin is soft. That lip is soft. The little straps make you look crazy.
And his parents are like gorgeous. His parents are what?
He said Kevin America instead of Captain America. Chan wins. Chan wins the post of the day. Chan wins the post of the day. Kevin America. Kevin America. That's right. When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Boy, don't nobody know this song. So I am going to say that's what I wanted to do. And I am now done. I just wanted to remind everybody that I don't care how big you get in the britches. I don't care what super serum you got. I don't care how much America you think you are. A Black woman will whoop your ass. That is the moral of that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that,
it's like 100% smoke.
A lot. So much smoke.
Yes.
I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
I'm Chuck Hobbs.
And I am Sharon Letman Hicks.
And we are Steel Sharpeneth Steel.